Hello everybody, my name is Alex and in this video we're going to talk about the present perfect and the present perfect continuous. Now, the present perfect is the following structure that we have to learn in English. It gets a bit confusing because even though it is called the present perfect, it is actually a conjugation that describes the past and it has the following functions. The first function of the present perfect is when an action is taking place in an indefinite place and indefinite time in the past. For example, my uncle has visited us several times. Unlike the simple past, we do not get the information at all in this one. We know that in the past my uncle has visited my family, but we don't know exactly when. That's the difference with the simple past. When you know it happened yesterday or last month, you get a specific detail in the place and time that you have received this visit, but in this case, no. The second function of the present perfect is when there exists an action that was unfinished. This means that the action has started in the past but maybe continue into the present as well. For example, I have lived in Cochabamba for 16 years. It is an action that started a lot of years ago and continues into the present because I am still living in Cochabamba. For the structure of the present perfect, we just have to add the auxiliary verb to have, depending on what the subject is. For example, I have, or in case of a third person is she has, following by the past participle. For those who don't remember, the past participle is basically the past form of the verb that you conjugate. In more basically the ed termination. That for the regular verbs, of course, because there is also the irregular verbs, and you have to memorize the past participle of those because it is not the same as the one you used to conjugate in the past form. It is very tricky, but it is very easy to memorize. Now, following that, we have the present perfect progressive, which, talking about now the structure of that, is basically almost the same one as the past form or the present form. For example, you have that structure already determined, the auxiliary verb to have plus the past participle of the verb. But in the case of the present perfect progressive, we use the past participle only of the verb to be. The verb to be becomes now kind of auxiliary in this, even though it's not basically a conjugation of itself, just like it was with the past and present form, when it was the present, when it was I'm, are, is, or was, or were. In this case, it has the help of the verb to have, which is the one that conjugates depending on of the subject. And then we have the verb, the main verb, that that is ending with the ing termination. In simple words, the present participle. Now that we have just said the structure of the present perfect continuous, let's go ahead with the functions. The first function of this conjugation is that you can use to express an action that started in the past, continues in the present, and may even move forward to the future. For example, my sister has been missing her daily practice at the university. It's an action that started in the past that continues in the future because she hasn't been assisting to her practices, and we can assume that it is going to move into the future, that she's not going to assist in the following days. Now, the other function of the present perfect continuous is that we use it to give an idea of a current situation or on a recent event to express how we are today. For example, I have been feeling exhausted these days. I am not necessarily talking about the past. Well, in this case, yes, because I'm talking about these days that happened in the past, yesterday, 2 days ago, etc. But I give an idea of an event that happened to me that I've been feeling exhausted. The idea of the current situation that I am. Well, that was everything I have to say about the present perfect and present perfect continuous. With all that being said, goodbye.